Hi, my name is Jan, and I'm here today to talk about my mother's life, and also I'm going to bake some cookies that I used to bake for our family every Tuesday when the kids were in school, and they would come home and they would look forward to the sugar cookies. Now, I'm trying to eat low sugar and carbohydrates, and these recipes I've got here won't be, I used regular flour, but I also I baked some, and I had these, and then I used Truvia in it, which is a 75% stevia and then 25% sugar. And they're not too bad. I think they're pretty good. And then I probably will ice them with the granular swerve. I have granular swerve. Now the cookies that I'm going to bake, this recipe was going to have regular swerve in it. So I'm just trying different things because now it's eating low sugar, and so when we have to do what we have to do. And I know my whole family, they're all into low sugar, low carbs, and all this and that, and they've all lost weight and seem to be doing very well. And not that they weren't before, but they want to just keep on staying healthy. So this recipe took buttermilk, and I didn't have buttermilk, so all I had was almond milk. So I thought I'm not going to put vinegar with almond milk. So I had powdered goat's milk in my refrigerator. So I mixed up the powdered goat's milk and added vinegar to it. To a cup of vinegar, or to a cup of milk, you add 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and that will make like sour milk. So I used half of the goat's milk with the vinegar in these cookies and half sour cream. So then I went into town and I got some buttermilk for this other recipe that I'm making. This other recipe is out of my Mennonite Amish cookbook, which I've used for years, and it's got some really good recipes in it. These are called the big white soft cookies, sugar cookies. So I've got the oil, and I actually used half oil and half butter in these. And then they took a cup and a half of the swerve. It takes a cup and a half of sugar, so you use sugar the swerve the same as sugar. So I put that in there, and so I'm going to start that up to mix lightly, and then I have to add 2 eggs, which I've got in this cup here. So I'm going to add the 2 eggs and get that going, and then I'll add the buttermilk. You have to mix with soda. So I had mixed the buttermilk with the soda. Then I have to add the salt, the nutmeg, the vanilla, and baking powder, and then mix again. And then you blend in the 3 cups of flour. So let's get this going here. And then these will have to be in the refrigerator for a while, so we'll put these in the refrigerator and bake them a little later. So I'm going to add the buttermilk and soda mixture. And these cookies, after you mix them up, will be kind of runny. But they're a really good cookie. So, okay, we'll let that go, and then I want to talk about this again. Now, I don't sell this or anything, but this is really a good sugar replacement, the swerve, and it's supposed to be the ultimate. And it won't bother, a lot of the sweeteners bother people that have diabetes and stuff, but this will not. So I was going to talk about my mom. She loved baking. She loved baking cookies, and she was born in 1918, and 1919, and she passed away when she was 88 When she was 50, she had a stroke, and she went into the room. They had company, and she walked into the room and she sat down on the couch and just passed out. And she actually, they called the doctor, and he said, "Oh, she'll wake up." And 3 days later, she was still laying on the couch. So Dad had the ambulance take her to the hospital, and she ended up at the Cleveland Clinic, and they did surgery on her carotid arteries. And the more that the artery grew, the doctors told my dad, was the more she would talk and remember. She didn't remember us for probably 3 months, but she could read a recipe, she could sing a hymn, but she didn't remember us for about 3 months. And then she gradually remembered us, and then she did fine. She lost a lot of her speech, but none of her physical. But yeah, she would go to say something and something else would come out. So they lived in a small community, and Mom lived on the farm and stuff, and everybody knew what had happened to Mom, but Mom didn't think anybody knew. She didn't want anybody to know. She was a very proud lady, and she did not give up, let me tell you. She went to speech therapy for 5 or 6 years. Dad took her to speech therapy. And but when she was growing up, a little girl, she went to country school, one-room schoolhouse. They went to eight grades there, and I think I've told everybody before, they picked her up in a hack, what they called a hack. It was like basically an old pickup truck, Mom said, with a long bed on it and sides up, and I don't think there was any windows, just benches on each side. So it was not a pleasant thing, I don't think. And I'm going to go ahead and put the baking powder in and the salt. And then I have to turn that down a little bit. Put the vanilla in, which is 2 teaspoons, and I have a 2 teaspoon spoon here, which I love. And then baking powder, which was 3 teaspoons. Now 1.5 teaspoons of ground nutmeg. Now I don't use that much nutmeg. I love it, but a lot of people don't like a lot, so I just put 1 teaspoon in. So that's what we'll do here. Whoa! This does not go down in there, so I'm just going to put about that much in. And let's see, the baking powder, the vanilla, the nutmeg, and the salt, the eggs, and now I'm going to put the flour in. And we'll get that in here. Yeah, my mom, after she had her stroke, she could read recipes. And I mean, you know, it was like, even before she really knew us again, she could bake cookies. It was, and then also the therapist had her reading recipes and she started with reading children's books. And but it's so ironic when people have strokes, like she could sing a hymn word for word. It's, yeah. My mom and dad got married in 1938. My mom graduated from high school in 1937. And I've got pictures here of my mom. This is her high school. Can you get this, CJ? This is her high school graduation. And can you see that? And then this is Mom and Dad's wedding picture. They got married in the minister's parsonage. And Mom had a bouquet of yellow roses. She liked yellow roses. And this is a picture of Mom and Dad and three of of us kids. My sister wasn't born yet, and of course my younger brother, who's 18 years younger than me, he wasn't born yet either. But that was a family picture then. And then here's my mom about 3 years before she passed away. She was 88 when she passed. My mom was pretty. My mom, she really liked looking nice, and she always had us kids, when we were little even, she always had new clothes for us at Easter. We always got a new dress, new shoes and socks, and of course little gloves, and usually a coat. So it was, she always made sure, and it wasn't, we didn't have a lot of money, and I can remember one year for Children's Day in May, they always had a Children's Day program, and my mom made us dresses, organdy dresses, and if I remember right, something happened, we got sick or something, we couldn't even go to the Children's Day program. But Children's Day was always a big deal. Usually after Children's Day, we would go to the woods and pick flowers, wildflowers, because it was always in May, and that was entertainment then. Now the flowers didn't stay very long, not the wildflowers. But yeah, she loved to cook and bake, and she always cooked in a iron skillet a lot. And I can remember once in a while her potatoes had burned, because iron skillets get really hot. And yeah, but she always managed to have food on the table for us, and we always had food because we raised a few pigs, cows, and we didn't have a dairy farm or anything, but we had a couple of cows, and always had chickens. We always had chicken. We had chicken every Sunday. And then Mom, until she got her freezer, she probably got a freezer when we were probably in junior high, and up until then she canned beef, and there is nothing like canned beef. I don't think it's really good, and she canned the beef. But before that, she worked. She went to work in the summer at the canning factory in Delphos, Ohio. Of course, we had moved to the farm when, after my great-grandfather passed away, we moved on the farm, and I was probably 10, I think, or 9 or 8, I'm not sure. And then when we were in junior high, my sister and I, my mom went to work at the canning factory just in the summer, and she worked hard there. They worked a lot of hours because they brought the tomatoes in, and it was a tomato factory. So it was hard work, but she managed to do it. And I can remember she wanted her glassware. She had a little bit of, it's called American Duncan, and she wanted to have a set of it, and she would go after she got paid on Friday. She would go, she would cash her check, and then she would have us kids, she'd take us kids, and we go uptown to this old jewelry store. Now, we're talking a little jewelry store that wasn't probably 20 feet wide or 15, and there was, these cabinets were clear to the ceiling and had high ceiling, and they had to go up ladders to get the stuff, you know, and I can just see it. It was really, actually the cabinets were just beautiful. And there was this lady that wore this wig, and she was probably about not even 5 foot tall and about 5 foot wide, and she wore this wig that looked like straw. I kid you not. It had curls. It looked like one of the wigs that the government people would wear, you know, when they were doing stuff. That it looked like one of those wigs, but us kids would always kind of laugh, but it wasn't very nice of us. But Mom would send one of us in with like $2 to pay on the layaway of her glassware, and finally Mom got her glassware. It was she worked hard for it. So that was one of the experiences that we had. But I'm going to put this cookie dough in the refrigerator because it needs to be in there for a couple hours, and then I'll bake it later. But CJ is going to put the recipes at the end and of these cookies, and but the reason I made these is because the kids always say, "Mom, make those sugar cookies like you used to make," and then I would always ice them too, and icing I think adds something to a cookie. But I did this recipe, and there was another one that I would make too, but it was always like on Tuesday. But my mom decided, my dad passed away in '82, and Mom was in the big old farmhouse, and she had a garage built attached, and then because they always parked the car in the big grain building, which you had to walk across the barnyard to get to. In the snow it was kind of hard, but she had a garage built, and then she just decided that she wanted a new house built down on the curve of the farm, and she talked to this one man, and he said yes, he could do it. It was a 2-bedroom, darling little house. And my mom, like I say, she couldn't talk and say everything, but when she made up her mind she was going to do it, she did it. And she told us kids, you know, new house, Helen, new house. And so Mom, are you sure? Yes, yes, she said. So she had, and my sister helped her with her finances then and helped her get it all together, and my sister Linda, and then Mom, she got her house built, and we all helped her move in, and she lived there until she passed away. But she loved her new home because it was small and she didn't have so much maintenance. So then she sold the farmhouse and barn to my nephew, who lives there today, and it's really, they've done such a nice job on the house and stuff, and yeah, they've lived there and raised their boys there, and they're still there. So that is kind of the story of my mom. There's a lot more to tell, but she was quite a lady. I mean, like I said, she always looked nice. She always looked nice, and she wanted everything, her hair just right and everything. She went to the beauty shop every week, you know, just like, but she was a wonderful person, and we all loved her very much. So that's the story of my mother. See you later. Bye-bye.